we've got this tractor. Some of you all know about this tractor, but for those that don't, let me explain. That machine is the most ornery, obstinate, evil, wicked thing on the face of the earth. Good men shudder in its presence. I curse when I see it, and I cuss when I work on it. It is just the antithesis of evil. I'll tell you, if the Death Star were real, it would envy this machine. Okay? So, I was working on the tractor one day. Maureen was away on a trip. And we have this unspoken agreement. I work on the tractor, she does most of the mowing. So I'm working on the tractor, and I'm saying a lot of bad words as I do. And out of the woods walks this little old man. And he's all hunched over, he has a long beard and really tattered old clothes, and he looks really poorly. And I say to him, "Can I get you something? Are you okay?" And he says, "I'd really like something to drink." So I took him up on the front porch, and I didn't think a drink was enough. So I went in and I made him a sandwich, the best sandwich I could make him, and I cut him up some apple slices and he got a couple of cookies and some hard cider. And he looked at that, and he just looked like he was in heaven. He wolfed it down so fast I couldn't believe it. And as he was eating it, I was looking at his clothes and thinking, I think I had some clothes that would fit him. So I told him that. I thought, "I've got some clothes inside. I think you'll fit it. I'm going to go get them." And as I was getting up, he said, "No, Bruce, you've done enough." And there was a flash of light. And he was no longer a little old man. He was a very tall man in red and white robes, very regal. And he said, "Bruce, you've treated me very well. So I'm going to give you 3 wishes." And I couldn't think of anything at the time. I was just in too much shock. So I said, "Can I save those wishes and make them when I need them?" And he said, "Sure." And poof, he was gone. So I thought, "Oh, that's nice, but I got to work on the tractor." So I'm out there working on the tractor, and I'm attaching the mower. And I'm going to explain this a little bit. There's a thing called a PTO. It sits about this on the ground, and it comes out the back of the tractor, and it turns, and it makes the mower work. But you have to attach this drive shaft to the PTO. Well, that sounds simple, but the drive shaft weighs about 20 or 30 pounds, and it's got this universal joint on the end that has to connect to the PTO. And you've got to hold this thing up, and you've got to make sure this is lined up, and you've got to make sure the PTO is turned just right, or it won't go in. It's really a 2-person job. So I'm sitting there saying more bad words than I thought I should say. And this little guy comes walking out of the woods. He's about 3 foot tall, and he's red all over. And he's got little horns, and he's got a spiked little tail, and he's got a pointy nose that's about this long. I thought he was a politician at first. Then I realized he was a devil. And he comes up to me and he says, "Bruce, you're old. It's time to come with me. It's time for you to die." So I said, "Old?" He said, "Yes, you are old. It's time for you to die. You need to come with me." And I said, "I can't go. I have to attach this mower up because Maureen is going to come home and she's going to need to mow, and she's a powerful hand at mowing. So I really need to do this." And he said, "No, you need to come to me." And I looked at him and I said, "I just wish that you would help me do this. Just come over here, please, and hold on to this PTO and turn it when I tell you to, and don't let go of it until I tell you to." So he kind of looked at me like he'd eaten too many green apples, and he came walking right over there and grabbed the thing. I jumped up on the tractor and started it up and engaged the PTO. And this little guy didn't let go. And he was going, whop, 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 as he hit the ground every time. And that tractor just laughed and laughed. And after about 30 seconds, he was able to say, "Bruce, please let me go." And I said, "Okay, I will, but you've got to go away and promise never to bother me again." He said, "I promise." And he I let him go and he ran away. So I got the mower hooked up to the tractor, and I was having to replace the belt on the tractor. Now, this tractor mower is about 6 foot wide, and it has 3 giant blades on it, and it requires a special belt. And that belt just goes across and over and around and all over and across, over and around and over. So I'm working on that thing, and it's really hard to do because you gotta stretch that belt and get it in just right to thread it and everything. And I'm saying more bad words than I should be. And this little guy comes riding up out of our woods on a goat. And this little guy is as pale as death, and he's got black veins all on his arm and everything, a little horn, spiked tail. And he says, "Bruce, time for you to die, you're old." And I said, I have to work on the tractor. I have to get it ready for Marine to mow. And he says, "I don't care. It's time for you to die." You could see he was serious. And so I said, "Look, I really need to do this. I just wish that you would come over here and hold this belt so I can thread it right, and don't let go of it until I tell you." So he kind of looked at me strange, and all the time he was looking me straight in the eye. And he had this angry, hurt look on his face, and he walked right over there and grabbed hold of that belt. And I jumped on the tractor, started it up, and engaged the mower. And this little guy went, every time he got, and it threaded the first time. That was the great part. Every time he went by one of those pulley wheels for the thing, he would go, "Oh, oh, oh, oh." And then there was one that was particularly tight, and he'd go, "Eek." So it's, "Oh, oh, 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 eek, oh, 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 eek, eek." About 30 seconds, he was able to say, "Bruce, please let me go." Then I said, "I will, but you've got to promise to leave me alone and never come back here again." He said, "I promise, I promise." He got on his goat. I let him go. He got on his goat and rode off. So I got the mower pulleys going, and I was done. I was going to be able to put the tractor up and be ready for Marine to mow. And I got on the tractor, and it wouldn't start. So I'm sitting there, beating my head against the wheel, thinking about all the different reasons it wouldn't start. And this tall man comes walking out of the woods. He's as dark as night, and he's got ivory horns. And he says, "Bruce, no more messing around. You're old, it's time to die. You need to come with me now." And it was Lucifer. And I looked at him and I said, I gotta fix this tractor so Marine can mow. I don't care. I gotta fix it. She's gonna get mad if she gets home and it's not ready. And he says, "Nope, you're coming with me. You're gonna have plenty to do down in the dark place. So you just leave that thing there." And I looked at him and I said, "I just wish that you would wait for a second so I can fix it. And then I'll go with you quietly. But I wish, I'll go with you quietly under one condition. And that is if you promise to do maintenance on this tractor from here until the end of time." And that tall, dark man turned as pale as death. And he said, "No, no, 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 and I promise I will never bother you again." So here's the sad part. About 20 minutes later, I got that tractor to start, and just as I got it started, I died. And I'm sitting there, and I don't know what to do, so I went up to heaven, and that tractor followed me. It was smiling all the way. And I went to the gates, and there was St. Peter, and he took one look at me, and he said, "Bruce, you can come in here, but you can't bring that thing with you. It's too disruptive." And I said, "But Marine's got to mow. And somebody's got to work on this thing." He said, "No, no, no." And so I decided to try to go down to the other place. And I was approaching the gate of hell, and I heard this huge commotion, and the gate slammed shut. And this little arm stuck out between the bars, and it had a sign, "Closed until the end of time." And the little devil looked out and said, "Bruce, you can come in here, but you cannot bring that thing in here." So I didn't know what to do. I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden there's a backup right there at the gates of hell. They're all politicians. And St. Peter saw me from way up there, and he obviously knew that wouldn't work because there's going to be too many politicians waiting outside. So he sent me back for a while so I could do until either that tractor falls apart or somebody buys it. So, you know, it's all a matter of perspective. Everything's a matter of perspective on these things. But I want to tell you one thing. I do live with a certain fear now, because I know on that great good getting up morning, when the stars begin to fall and the world ends, be it 100 or 1,000,000 years from now, that all the parts of that tractor are going to come back together, and they're going to go down to the lowest circle of hell. And then there's going to be a wailing, the like of which has never ever been heard, and it's going to be the evil soul who's going to have to do maintenance on that tractor for the rest of eternity. And I just hope it's not me, and I hope it's not any of you.